Some car brands vanish so quietly you don't notice until the showroom near you is boarded up. No farewell ads, no dramatic last model, just a slow disappearance. If you buy from them right before that happens, you might be left with a car nobody wants to service and parts that cost a fortune, if you can even find them. Today, we're going to look at 6 brands in real danger of disappearing from major markets in 2025. They're struggling with collapsing sales, outdated lineups, and brutal competition. And the worst part? A few of them were once icons. Number 6. Alfa Romeo, the fading Italian stallion. Alfa Romeo's history reads like a romance novel for gearheads. Founded in 1910 in Milan, Alfa built its reputation on gorgeous design and motorsport dominance. They weren't just making cars, they were making rolling works of art. From the Giulietta of the 1950s to the 8C Competizione in the 2000s, Alfa always had something that stirred the soul. Their cars weren't perfect, far from it. Reliability jokes were common, but the brand had charm, and enthusiasts overlooked the flaws for that special Alfa feel. In the 1990s and 2000s, they had a loyal European following and even made a push into the US. But over the last decade, Alfa's fortunes have reversed sharply. In the US, they sold fewer than 12,000 cars in 2024. That's less than Toyota sells before lunch on a Monday. In Europe, their market share has been bleeding for years, and their once vibrant lineup is down to just 3 core models: the Giulia sedan, Stelvio SUV, and the new Tonale. The problem? The industry is sprinting toward electrification, and Alfa's transition has been slow and hesitant. The EU's increasingly strict emissions rules mean non-compliant brands face massive fines, and Alfa simply doesn't have the scale to absorb them. On top of that, dealerships have been closing, making warranty coverage, parts, and even test drives harder to access. Without a strong EV lineup and a wider dealer network, Alfa's future is in real jeopardy. They might survive as a niche luxury badge under Stellantis, but the days of seeing Alfa dealerships in every major city could soon be over. Number 5. Mitsubishi, the quiet retreat. If you grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, Mitsubishi was a serious player. The Pajero, or Montero depending on your market, dominated the Dakar Rally. The Lancer Evolution became a legend in street racing and rally circles. Their cars were tough, exciting, and affordable, but that was then. Today, Mitsubishi's lineup feels like it's running on fumes. In the US, they have the Mirage, Outlander, and Eclipse Cross, none of which are setting sales records or winning comparison tests. The once mighty Evo is long gone, and their sporty image went with it. In Europe, they've been quietly pulling out of multiple countries, choosing to focus on core markets rather than fighting against better-funded rivals. This retreat has shrunk their dealer network to the point where some regions have no Mitsubishi presence at all. Electrification? Minimal. Yes, the Outlander PHEV was early to the plug-in hybrid game, but that was years ago. Since then, Mitsubishi has been playing catch-up while other brands have surged ahead. And in a world where both regulators and customers are demanding cleaner vehicles, being late to EVs is a fatal flaw. Dealers are relying more on repair work than new sales, and that's always a red flag. When your sales floor is empty, but your service bays are full, it usually means the brand's future product pipeline is too weak to sustain long-term survival. Unless Mitsubishi unveils a radical new lineup very soon, they risk fading into irrelevance outside Asia. Number 4. Genesis, the invisible luxury brand. Genesis was supposed to be the bold newcomer that shook up the luxury car market. Backed by Hyundai's deep pockets, they launched with stylish sedans and SUVs that rivaled BMW and Mercedes for less money. On paper, it looked like a winning formula. And in some ways, Genesis has delivered, especially in design and build quality. The G70, G80, and G90 sedans are genuinely impressive, as are the GV70 and GV80 SUVs. Their EVs, like the GV60, are well reviewed. So why are they struggling? In markets like Europe, Genesis is almost invisible. Their dealer network is tiny. Brand awareness is practically non-existent. Luxury buyers tend to stick with what they know, and Genesis hasn't built enough prestige to lure them away from established German brands. Even in the US, where Genesis has had more traction, sales are modest compared to rivals. And storm clouds are forming. Tariff hikes on Korean imports could make their prices far less competitive, while Tesla, Lucid, and Polestar keep chipping away at the EV luxury market. The problem isn't that Genesis builds bad cars. They don't. It's that the luxury segment is brutal, and being the new kid on the block means you either grow fast or get forgotten. Unless Genesis can massively expand its visibility and dealership reach, it risks becoming a brand that's admired in reviews, but absent from actual roads. Number 3. Jaguar, the noble cat on life support. There was a time when Jaguar was the definition of British luxury. Sleek lines, wooden dashboards, and the purr of a smooth inline-6 or V12 under the bonnet. From the E-Type of the 1960s, often called the most beautiful car ever made, to the stately XJ sedans that chauffeured royalty and diplomats, Jaguar had a reputation for elegance and speed. But the modern Jaguar story is one of missed opportunities. Since being acquired by Tata Motors in 2008, Jaguar has tried to reinvent itself several times. Sports car maker, luxury sedan builder, SUV competitor, and even EV pioneer with the I-Pace. But each shift has been too slow, too small, or too late. Sales numbers tell the tale. In 2015, Jaguar sold over 100,000 vehicles globally. By 2024, that number had plummeted to under 60,000. That's global sales, spread across every market. In the US, their share is a sliver compared to BMW or Lexus. Part of the problem is their lineup. The XE sedan is gone. The flagship XJ was discontinued before its electric replacement was ready. The F-Type, their only sports car, is aging out. SUVs like the F-Pace and E-Pace are competent, but don't stand out in an overcrowded luxury SUV market. Then there's the dealer issue. Jaguar showrooms are often paired with Land Rover, but Land Rover sales vastly overshadow Jaguars, meaning the Jag side of the building often feels like an afterthought. Jaguar says it will go all electric by 2025, but with few models ready and little marketing momentum, the risk is huge. If the electric gambit fails, Jaguar could shrink into a niche heritage badge or quietly exit entire markets. Number 2. Chrysler, the last stand of an American giant. Chrysler was once a powerhouse of American motoring. In the post-war years, they were one of Detroit's big three alongside Ford and GM, producing everything from luxury sedans to muscle cars. The Chrysler 300 was an icon, the town and country minivan was a family staple, and the brand stood for comfort and bold American styling. But today, Chrysler's lineup is alarmingly thin, just 2 vehicles, the Pacifica minivan and the aging Chrysler 300 sedan. That's it. No SUVs, no crossovers, no EVs yet. In a market where SUVs dominate and electrification is accelerating, Chrysler feels stuck in 2008. Part of the problem is corporate neglect. As part of Stellantis, Chrysler is a tiny piece of a massive global portfolio that includes Jeep, Dodge, Peugeot, Citroën, and many others. Without a clear identity or investment priority, Chrysler has been left to quietly fade. The 300 is slated to end production soon, leaving the Pacifica as their sole offering. Great minivan, but hardly a volume leader in a world where minivans themselves are disappearing. There are rumors of an electric crossover coming, but without a bold lineup refresh, it could be too little, too late. If Chrysler doesn't announce and deliver new models fast, especially in the EV space, 2025 could be the year this once great American badge becomes history. Number 1. Lancia, the ghost brand. For younger viewers, Lancia might be just a name in an old rally highlight reel, but in its prime, Lancia was one of the most innovative and stylish car makers in Europe. They dominated the World Rally Championship in the 1970s and 80s with the Stratos, Delta Integrale, and 037, cars that are now legends among enthusiasts. So what happened? A combination of financial trouble, corporate reshuffling, and shrinking product lines. Lancia became part of Fiat, then Fiat Chrysler, and now Stellantis. Over time, their lineup shrank until, in recent years, they've been selling essentially one model, the Ypsilon Supermini, almost entirely in Italy. They've had no presence in the wider European market for years, and outside of Italy, the brand is virtually unknown to younger buyers. The rally heritage remains in the history books, but the modern Lancia showroom is a pale shadow of its past. There's talk of a revival. Stellantis has promised new electric Lancia models in the coming years, but promises are not production cars. With so little market presence and so much competition, bringing Lancia back to life will be an uphill battle. If those new models are delayed or flop, Lancia could remain nothing more than a nostalgic footnote. Car brands don't always die suddenly. Sometimes they shrink market by market, until the only sign they existed is a badge on a classic car at a Sunday meet. In 2025, these 6 brands, Alfa Romeo, Mitsubishi, Genesis, Jaguar, Chrysler, and Lancia, are walking that razor's edge. Buying from them isn't always a bad idea, but it's a gamble. If you do, you need to be aware of the risks: limited dealer support, uncertain resale value, and parts shortages if the brand pulls out of your market. The lesson? In cars, just like in life, loyalty is admirable, but survival is about adapting. And the brands that can't adapt are the ones that disappear. And don't forget to like and subscribe.